morning, ladies and gentlemen. So I'm going to show you how to do the lab that we're doing next. To perform this lab, you need the following equipment. You're going to need a meter stick. You're going to need a styrofoam cup. You're going to need a steel ball bearing. And you're going to need a small ruler, a stopwatch, a little bit of tape, and one of these pendulums made with a golf ball hanging from a string. You're also going to need a textbook of some type to make a launching ramp. And that's the very first thing we're going to do. Back away from the edge of your table, you want to position the textbook, and you want to place the ruler against the textbook. And this is our launching ramp. Now, to hold the launching ramp in place, take a small amount of the tape. This is lovely. Take a small amount of the tape and put it across the end of the ruler. Make sure that the tape goes into the groove of the ruler so it doesn't create anything that will bounce the ball. And once this is taped to the desk, that's a pretty secure situation. You're going to be placing the ball bearing at the top of the ruler and releasing it, and it will roll across the table. Now, as far as rolling across the table, we need to create a speed trap. So you can either measure a certain distance across the table here, and place a couple pieces of tape. For instance, I could use the end of the launching ruler, and then I could use this 30 centimeter mark, and that would give me a 30 centimeter speed trap. I might actually go with the 40 centimeter mark. So hold on a second, let me get that going. It's best to grab a strip of tape and not have the roll at your desk for this thing. Oh, this tape. This tape is amazing. Right here, I'm going to take this much tape and use it for the lab. There we go. So we'll take a little off the end. Here we go. So what did I say, 40 centimeter mark? So that's going to be right about here. So now there are 40 centimeters between the end of my launching ruler and this tape mark that you can see over here. What you're going to do is you're going to have someone time the ball as it goes between here and here, and you're going to do that 5 times. And each time you're going to catch the ball before it goes off the end of the table. I don't want you to see where it's going. And this is going to determine the velocity of the ball as it rolls across your table. And once you know the velocity of the ball as it rolls across your table, you also know the velocity of the ball as it rolls horizontally off the table. And that's the starting point for the projectile motion calculation. Now, the other thing we need to know for this classic #1 type of projectile motion is we need to know how tall the desk is. So measuring from the ground to the top of the desk, we can find out how many centimeters or meters the desk is tall. You're also going to measure the height of your cup. And that is because we're going to use the cup as a target. And we can calculate where it's going to land on the ground, but we want to know where the ball is going to go into the opening of the cup. So you would subtract away the height of the cup from the height of the table if you want to be really precise about this, or I guess that would be accurate about this lab. If you don't do that, it'll still work, but it's just not quite as cool. So once you know the height of the table and you know the speed which the ball is going off, you'll be able to figure out how far away from the edge of the table the ball is going to land. The problem is that the edge of the table is not where the legs are. So you'll need to suspend the plumb bob. That's what this is. This pendulum is called a plumb bob when you use it to find straight down. Suspend it off the end of the table and make a small mark on the ground. Usually just put a piece of tape on the ground wherever the ball is off the end of the table. And then once you calculate the distance that the marble will roll away from the edge of the table, you measure it from that mark, and you place the cup on the ground, and then you summon the teacher. And what will happen is you'll have one attempt to roll the marble into the cup, your grade is not going to depend on whether you get the marble in the cup, except that I try to take statistics for the class and see what fraction of the students get the marble into the cup on the first try. First try is important because what we're doing here is we're using physics to predict where something's going to be, and I'd like you to see that it is where we predict using physics. Okay, you'll be given instructions on the day of the lab, but basically you're setting up a ramp, launching ramp, you're setting up a speed trap, you're marking the location of the edge of the table on the floor, you are measuring the height of the table and the height of the cup, and then you're going to predict using equations where the ball will land on the floor. Place the cup on the floor and roll the ball. Thank you very much.